Oh, hi, hello. Welcome to part 2 of this little series for people about what they need to bring to small venues or festivals for their shows. We're talking tech specs, we're talking documentation, we're talking making your life a million times easier. Last week we talked about what kind of documents you should have on hand and prepped to give to the festival or to the venue or to your tech to make your show really successful and easy. In that video we chatted about your lighting and about having a tech script. Today we're going to break those things down a little bit more. My name is Monique, I'm a live entertainment tech. With over 10 years of experience in the entertainment industry, I have worked in live music, at cabaret festivals, I have managed and tech directed small venues, I've worked in fringe festivals and comedy festivals, and for the last couple of years I have been working in professional theatre in Australia. Most of my work experience and the place that I have felt the most joy has been in fringe type settings with fringe type shows. Cabarets, burlesque shows, variety shows, comedy shows, hour-long scripted touring shows. I cannot count how many times I have been in a bump in or in a tech with a performer and asked what they wanted done with their lighting, and they've said that they've never thought about it. Your lighting having intention, or at the very least having difference, immediately elevates your show. It's not only more exciting for your audience, but it also can help you to communicate the mood that you are trying to set and to help sell what you're performing. Especially in a cabaret or a scripted show or a comedy show, you can really use your lighting, even if it's a simple setup, to enhance your work. This does not have to be crazy complicated. Like I said last week, the more simple your idea is, the easier it is to transfer between different spaces and setups. For music acts, it can be as simple as picking a different color, mood, or brightness for different songs in your set. If you wanted to go a step further, you could also add dynamic changes throughout the songs that you're doing, like having verses be more dim and choruses be brighter. But if all you communicate is the vibe and the color of a song, any tech who knows the system that the venue is working in will be able to get creative and use what they know is in the space's capacity. If I was designing the lighting for a scripted show like a cabaret, I would first of all start with the show state. This is going to be what you come back to between songs or larger moments, what your show sits on for most of the show. This is also usually what I use to create like a pre-show state. It will often be the show state just without front lights in it, immediately setting the vibe but not drawing a lot of attention to stage because you're not on it. Once you've got your show state, you can add different states for particular songs and moments. Similarly to bands, you're also then going to want to pick like a mood and a color maybe for the different songs. But this time you should also think about how long you want the change to fade into that state. A fade between lighting states or a snap can be super effective. Think the I'm So Blue King George Hamilton moment, or a gradual change in lighting that moves with really slow music. If movement is an option within the lighting rig you've got, you can use that to build songs. Also think about using lighting to enhance sound effects. For example, red and blue flashes to communicate police if you've got like a siren in your show, adding a little bit of movement if you have like a twinkle sound, or even lights turning off when a particular sound happens. But once you've got all of these ideas, how do you communicate them in a tech script to your tech? Let's do the thing. Today is an example. I'm using a tech script for a fringe show that I not only created all this documentation for, but designed the lighting for, the show Cherry by Sarah Carroll. General tips for a tech script is to make it easy to read and to use. That being said, I'll usually have like a title page, and I will include all of my like pre-show and opening show cues just before the start of the show. If you aren't able to edit a document and you're just doing this on somebody's physical printed out script, hopefully they've got a script cover. If not, write a script cover on the back of a piece of paper and then using that on the front, use the back of that to write down your pre-show stuff if their script starts immediately from the top of the next page. Really, really important is to make your cue points bold and obvious. You can do this by the size of the font, changing the font, or using different colors. Personally, using different colors for different cues is really helpful for me because you can then also use that in a Qlab file or other files that you may be also operating. Another little thing, if you have a cue that is directly at the top of a page, add it to the bottom of the page before. Even if it's a weird layout or you're just writing it onto the bottom, there is nothing worse than when you are operating from a script, flipping to the next page and you've missed a cue because you've taken too long to flip over or you didn't know it was coming because you couldn't see it up ahead. But let's have a look at the top of this show and how I marked it up. So the first bit up here, we've got a pre-show. We've got a pre-show Katy Perry playlist playing. Fuck me. Katy Perry playlist playing. Okay. This is a fringe show about Katy Perry. So Katy Perry songs are all throughout this. You'll see in the lighting cues that we've got here that it just says blah blah blah, state, and then front wash or no front wash. That is because if you remember from last week, we had a document that had our lighting states, exactly what they looked like and how long they fade in and out. That is so you don't have to overfill your text script with all of that information, because then it can be a bit messy. And also so that if you are reprogramming a show, you can just use that instead of having to flick through the script a million times. So very top of the show, we have our pre-show playing, and we also have our pre-show lighting state. We've got a second lighting cue to go into blackout, and then we have the first sound effect. After that, we have a lighting cue, and these all go in chronological order. We've also got stage direction in here so that you can see what the person on stage is doing. But that's literally it. You just go through the show, you mark up sound and lighting cues when they happen. If they happen on a particular word at the end of a sentence, for example, if we go down here, we have a dial-up modem sound effect that happens as she says, I connect the dial-up modem. So I would play it as she says the word modem. If it helps you, highlight the word in the same color. That is the cue point for that cue. Down here, we have an example of that. There is a lighting cue that changes on a physical action. So I've highlighted what the physical action is in purple to go along with the purple of the lighting cue. Having a script is really great as well, because it means that if you don't know the show, you can read along with what's going on and what is happening on stage so that you never miss a cue. If you've got no idea what is happening or what the person is meant to be saying, or whether there's a monologue coming up or a song coming up, then it's really difficult to follow and it's very easy to miss things. Let's go to the end of the script to see how it's been wrapped up. Here at the end, we have a final line, a snap to blackout. We then start the audio, and then we bring in the lighting state, and then we bring in the house lights. And that is 4 separate cues, all labeled out in order, easy to read, easy to understand, I hope. Hopefully, your sound cues are in Qlab, and next week we're going to break down Qlab. I'm going to give you a little beginner's guide in the way that I think it would be very useful for a show like this. If you aren't using Qlab yet and you are doing shows like this, or even variety shows where you have multiple performers who are using multiple songs, like a burlesque show, Qlab will literally change your life. It's definitely changed mine in every part of the industry that I've ever used it in, which is all of them. But that's it for text scripts. I hope that that was easy to understand. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you're somebody who does this kind of stuff and writes up your own text scripts and you have any tips, please leave them below or head on over to the Discord and show us some examples so that we can learn along with you. If you are a performer who needs work like this done and you have no interest in doing it, this is a service that I do offer through my website, which will be linked below in the description. But hopefully I've run myself out of business by giving you all of the tips that you need to do it yourself. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and to follow me over on Instagram. There are new videos every single Monday, and we stream live on Twitch every single Monday as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week to talk about Qlab.